In a distant kingdom, there lived a beautiful girl named Cinderella. Orphaned, she lived with her wicked stepmother and her two vain daughters. Cinderella was forced to do all the hard household chores, while her stepmother and daughters treated her cruelly and forced her to wear old and worn-out clothes. One day, the king announced that he was going to hold a big party in the royal palace for all the girls of the kingdom, as the prince was looking for a bride. The stepmother and her daughters are delighted with the invitation and start preparing for the party by buying the most beautiful dresses. Cinderella wanted to go too, but she didn't have a suitable dress for the party, and housework prevented her from preparing. While Cinderella was sitting sadly in the garden, a kind fairy appeared to her. The fairy felt sad for Cinderella and decided to help her. With a magical touch of her wand, she transformed Cinderella into a beautiful princess, giving her a beautiful dress and glass slippers. She also transformed the pumpkin into a fancy carriage and the mice into horses to accompany her to the party. However, the fairy warned Cinderella that the magic will wear off at midnight, and she must return before then. Cinderella arrives at the ball, attracting everyone's attention with her beauty and elegance. When the prince saw her, he fell in love with her at first sight. They spent the night dancing and talking, while the stepmother and her two daughters were unable to recognize Cinderella in her royal attire. However, when the clock struck midnight, Cinderella remembered the fairy's warning and quickly fled the palace, leaving her glass slipper behind. The next day, the prince sets out to find the girl who left the glass slipper. He traveled all over the kingdom, trying to find the girl who fit the shoe. He finally arrived at Cinderella's house. The stepmother tried to hide Cinderella, but the prince insisted on trying the shoe on all the girls in the house. When it was Cinderella's turn, the shoe easily entered her foot. When the prince realizes that Cinderella is the girl he danced with at the ball, his heart is filled with joy and he asks for her hand in marriage. Cinderella agrees and moves into the palace, where she becomes a princess. Cinderella lived happily ever after with the prince, leaving behind a life of injustice and deprivation, proving that kindness and honesty can change fate.